Okay, fine. Right. Are you able to see my screen, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for
Yes.
confirming. Okay. I think yesterday's class we have seen so far in the framework level, right? Base phase, what to create in the base test and what to create. And then the base test so far we have created in the before method driver creation, after method close the driver, and in the base phase reusable methods. Right. So far we have written enter text and click method. We have seen inheritance concept and then overloading concept. Right, fine. Today we will see one of the design pattern, singleton design pattern. Right. We are trying to read the property file. Right. Under SRC test resources, we have created one application dot properties. Here we will maintain the key value pairs. Right. Which are right. What type of data we will mention here? Basically, usually we will maintain like a DB data, right? Database details, right? Database details, and then mostly if we have any application, right? Application details, any right? If we have any JMS, SQ details, this those are all very rarely we will use. Right, and then application, any API testing related details. Right, those things, right, we will not write in the code. Those things we will not write in the code. Mostly we will write inside property file only. Correct, property file only. Right, currently we are using only URL, username, password, these things. Then how to read these things in our code, right? How to read and how to pass this. Right, for this, right, we will use that both collection framework and then singleton design pattern. Here, we'll create one package, not a base, right? Util package, right? Util package, whatever already exists. Okay, already there. Then here we'll create a class called property util, property util, class called property util. Now, how to achieve right a singleton design pattern here, right? Right. In the first class, I told you, right, to enable GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot, right? If you enable and the commit, right, already if you are connected to GitHub, it will we have a lot of advantages, right? So code automatically, some skeleton code it will automatically down. Suppose singleton, single. Suppose based on our comments also, it will read and provide something. Right, what is singleton class first of all? Right, and that is also we should know. Maybe you have idea. Just tell something. Right, suppose I want to create right one employee object. Suppose I want to create instead of employee, we will create driver object. We will take the driver. Now I have a multiple right test cases. Right, these are all. Suppose I have test cases, but for all the test cases, I want to create only single driver. Right. At any point of time, I want to create only one driver only. Suppose if I create multiple times object, right? If I create multiple times object to create the driver object, right? It should give me the existing object only. It should not create new one. Right. At any point of time, it should get only single instance of object. That means it should not create multiple objects. We should not allow multiple objects to create. That means why if we create what will happen memory right unnecessarily we are creating memory waste right then duplicate code memory wastage right in testing point of view it will not impact much more but in development point of view it will impact a lot. Alright, then how to achieve that right if I want to first thing is we should have a private constructor right private constructor. What is the advantage of private constructor? If we have a private constructor we cannot create an object for it. Right. We cannot create an object for it. If anyone try to create a property util dot new, property util dot new, right, equal to new property util, it will not allow. Right? It will, first of all, we are blocking object creation, we are blocking. Then here we will take a one, right, private static variable of the, right. I want to load this property file, application.property file. I want to load. How to load? By using collection framework. We have a one class called properties. Right. This is belongs to java.util collection framework properties class. Right. We have to create a one static variable of the, static variable of the properties. Right. Now, right, we can also
Sir,
restrict
what is
it.
singleton class means?
Yeah. Uh, Sorry. Someone
Singleton class.
asked me. Tulsi. Yeah, you were asking something.
Yeah, singleton class means.
Right. Singleton means that is only right. What I told you here. At any point of time, I want to create only one object for the, suppose, right? Suppose if we take an employee. Right. Suppose if anyone want this employee object, suppose this person want employee object, it should give first time it will create object. This is the first person who created employee object. Suppose second person also trying to create, it should not allow to create. It should give existing employee object only. I should not allow to create the employee object. Right. It should not allow multiple instances of the employee object. It should allow only one instance. Only one time it should create for everyone. It should, that object only should give for everyone. It should not create multiple instances. Suppose if anyone trying to create, suppose that that's why what we have done here, private variable. That means a private constructor. Private constructor means what? Nobody can create for this, first of all. Right. First of all, they will not create object for it. Then how to get the object of it? Right. We will then
So private
specify that
means we can be able to accessible within the class only, right?
within the class. Right. That is
Uh,
the scope of the private is within the class only we can. But these properties we cannot use within the class. Right. Same class we will not use. Right. These properties are required across the project. Right.
okay.
Across the project. Across the project means I want to call this, right. If I want, we will see that. Right. Once it is done, right, we will understand.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Now I want to load those properties. Right. What we can do is, right, in constructor itself, we will load, but in constructor, if you load, right, we will not create that. Right. What we will create a one public method, right, public static method, um, return load properties. Right, load properties. Right. I want to load the properties into this properties class, then properties dot. Right, because why it is not able to access? It is a static method. We should access only static variables inside static. Properties dot load. Here we have to give the from where I want to load. Right, this path where this path is here. I want to give this path, right, to load the properties. Suppose if you want to get the path, how to get it? Right click properties. You can get it, but there is a disadvantage of it. I will see. Suppose I have given like this path. Let's suppose tomorrow I have changed this path from this location to another location. Right? Maybe you have downloaded from the Git to your local. Right? Your local, you will have a different path. It will not work. So what we have to do? Up to root directory, we have to get the dynamically. Up to root directory means automation training. Right? Up to here, I want to get the dynamically. After that, we can go inside. Right. How to get a root directory dynamically? Right. String root directory. How to get the root directory dynamically? There is a class called system dot get property user dot dir. What it will give? It will give the current project base location. Right, wherever it is, wherever it is in your system or some other system, it will give the root directory. After that, remaining is common src test resources, right? Only root directory will change in. After that, remaining path will be same only src test resources config this one, right? Then okay, for load method, what we have to do? Either we have to provide the input stream or reader. Right, what we will do here input file input stream. There is a class called file input stream. For file input stream, again we need to pass the file object. For file object, we need to pass the actual our path of it, path of the directory. Right, it will throw a checked exception if we have idea about it. That we have to either handle by using throws or surround with try catch. Just I will add exception root. Right now, what will happen? Whenever we will call this method, whenever we will call this method, right, we are okay. Right now, properties are loaded. Right, properties are loaded, and then now I want to get the property. Properties, all the these properties are loaded into properties object. Now I want to get the property from this. Right, I want to get the property from this. How to get it? Right, we can do one method. We can create a one method public static return string get property. We can create one get property. Right, get property. Then we have to pass the key. Right, we have to pass the key, then only we will get the value. Right, then properties dot. We have already loaded properties into this properties object. Then properties dot getter default. What is the advantage of it? Suppose whatever you are passing the key, if it is available, it will return the value. Suppose if it is not available, you are passing some key, it is not available. What you want to return? I want to return empty. Right, I want to return empty. If it is not key not available, just I want to return the empty. Right, just return it. Return. Okay, it is returning the object. Okay, get property. We have one more is get property. We can use it. It will return the string. Okay, we have to pass the key. It will return the value. If it is not available, it will return empty. Right now, we have created one util class and we have restricted the object creation. But someone want to write, they cannot write. For singleton, we have lot of conditions. Here we are using only one condition. Right. For our requirement, we got only one requirement. That is, we should not allow to create object for property util. Right. Property util dot. Now I want to load it. Right. Automatically it will not load. Right. Automatically it will not load. We have to call this method. Right. This is the static method. How to call static method? By using class name only. Property util dot load properties. We once we call, then only these properties will be loaded. But where I want to call this? Right. Right. These properties will not change. Right. If you load one time, 10 times, 100 times, same properties. Right. One time also, if you load 10 times load, 100 times load, same properties will be loaded. So it is advised to load only one time. Only one time load and that use those things. Then how to load only one time? Right. If we take the TestNG concept, we have a right. There is a one annotation. Right. We have idea. We have a one annotation called before suit. Right. If you write anything, right. If we look, it's like some. Okay. If you write any code here, it will execute only one time for the entire execution of the project. Right, so my requirement is I want to load properties only one time. Right, that's it. Load and save it in the properties. Whenever I require, just call this property util dot get property. Simple. Right. Suppose I try to create the object. Right. I try to. Right. It will not allow first. It will not show because we have created a private constructor. So it is asking for change the visibility. It will not allow to create the object of it. Right now, how to load that properties by using property util dot get right load properties. Right, it is throwing a right. It is throwing checked exception. Whoever calling that method, they also need to handle that. Right, just throws exception. Right now, what will happen whenever I run the test case? Right, whenever I right click and run the test case, first it will execute before suit. It will load the properties into the properties. It is a static variable, so in the memory it will store. Until the execution stops, our properties will be here. Wherever I require property, just I need to call property it will dot get property. Suppose now we want to open that URL and those things, right? We will go to now our test cases, SRC test Java test, login test. I want to get that URL. How to get it? Property it will dot get property. What is the key? We have to give the key. Application URL. Right, wherever I require simple. Right. So if we want to decrease this also, right? I want to decrease this piece of code. I don't want to call every time property util dot right. What we can do here, it may require in the right. It may I want to call either in the text classes or page classes. Based on the requirement, we can read the property data from either text cases or page cases. Right. So here we will introduce abstract class concept. Right. Abstract class concept. Right. Now what is happened? I will explain in some diag diagrammatic way so that you will understand more. Right. Now we have one base test, one base page. Right. Here we have a base test and then base page. Right. Now here we have a child classes. Right. These are all the child classes. It will. Now, right. I required this property util dot get property. I can call get property something. Right. Based on our requirement, I can call anywhere. All right. I can call right either in this child class, right? Either in this child class. Right. So what I will do is I will create one more parent class here, right? Our base test and base page will extend this, right? Multi-level inheritance, right? And also we are introducing abstract class concept, abstract class concept, right? Abstract class, right? Then here we will write a one method called get property, right? Get property, simple. Get property, we can pass the key. What is the key? then inside it we will write this piece of code. Right. So that what is the advantage of it? Just we are reducing the piece of code we are calling. Right. So now what will happen? It is a parent for all. This abstract class is parent for all. So this method is visible to all the test cases, page case, right? Pages and the tests. Right. It will. This is the advantage of it. Why we are keeping abstract class? Right. We don't want to allow to create an object for it. Right. We don't want to allow object for it. So abstract class. Right. How to create? Now here I will we can give it as an abstract base. Something any name we can give. Right. Here what I will do protected. We have to create abstract class. Right? How to create abstract? We have to keep it as a public abstract. Before the class, we should keep it as abstract. Right? Lot of people they will ask, are you using any abstract classes in interfaces in your framework? Why you have used? Right? This is a scenario I put. Right? Protected string return type is string get property. Right. For get property, I need to pass the what is the key. Right. Here just we will write property util dot right property util dot get property of that key. Simple. Return. Now abstract base should extend by base page and base test. Extends base extends abstract base. Right. Then we have introduced this one. Then now wherever we required simply now go to here. We no need to call like that, just get property. Right. In the parent class, we have a get property that it will call automatically. Now wherever we require, simply we can call. Now in the pages also, right? A login page, we require this right username and password. But what is the key here? Application dot username. Right. One more is application dot password. Right. Then just we can run it as it is. It will work it as it is. Right. If we are doing any mistake, it will not load those properties. Okay, fine. Now it is loading, still loading. Okay, it's loaded URL, username, password. That means whatever we have written, it is loaded. Just I will explain one more time. Right, debugging mode. Right, in debug mode, we will understand more. That we will go to abstract base. From where it will come? Right, base test. Right. First it will come here. First step it will come here whenever we started. Then before method it will come. Then our login test will come. Right. We will see. Right. Flow is very very important. How to debug mode in runs. Right click debug guys. Right. Wherever we want to stop, just keep the debug point. Right. Wherever we want to stop the execution, just keep it a debug point. That's it. And right click and debug guys testing this out. Debugging is very 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 important. If you want to and to verify any issue, where is the issue, why we are getting the issue, right? Very, very important debugging. Let's see, first step before shoot, it will come here. All right, whenever we start the execution, this will execute this piece of code only one time, the entire execution. If you want to write any piece of code, you want to load anything only one time, then we will keep it such piece of code under before shoot. Right. Suppose I want to go inside load properties. Right. What we can do, we can right on top we have some numbers. Step into F5. You can also press F5. It will go inside. Right. Now, if you want to see the root directories, this root directory will come automatically, right, wherever it is. In our system, maybe different path. Some other systems may be different. We no need to worry about it. Right. Next, F6 press. Right. If you mouse over it, all are loaded. Or properties are loaded, and it will be there in here. It is a static variable, right? It will load memory only one time, and it will stay until the execution is done. Until execution is completed, these properties will be live. Right. Whenever we will call this get property from this properties object, we will get right. If you know the collection object, array list, same way map object. Right. This is the map extended class, map interface class. Right. Child class of the map only. Right. So how to retrieve hash map? Those things. We will have a get method. Right. Here we will have get property. Right. Okay, then if we say sometimes a lot of people don't know this is the collection framework class, right? If we click on that class, right, we can see that what is the parent class of it. Let's see hash table, and then it will extend the dictionary, and then interface is map, right? It is the child class of the map only properties. That it is loaded, then if you want to right jump into next debug point, we no need to press F5, F6 or nothing. Here F8 is there, some symbol is there, right? You can directly click on it, it will jump to immediately to next debug point, right? Before method, right? Once before test is done, before shoot is done, then before method, it will create the driver. I want to jump to again next debug point. It will come to our test case, right? It is open the URL and then browser is created. Now it will execute our steps, right? It will open the URL and then log into the application. Right, if you press F8, there are no debug points, so it will complete the execution, it will done. Right, I think if you have any doubts or you did not understand or maybe if you have questions, you can, right, we'll go through. Right, this is the one of the important concept of property file reading, how to read the property file, right, and how to pass to the right different classes. Right here we have introduced the abstract class and then multi-level inheritance. Right, a little bit not fully singleton, but right we are restricting. This is one of the property of singleton, and then we have right. I think these are the properties only. Oops concept means this is one of the oops concept. One more oops concept is abstract class and multi-level inheritance. These two we have seen now. Right. I think if you have any questions in the previous class so far, right, you can ask no. Right, any question, that's fine. Right, we can discuss if you have any other doubts also. Okay, if we don't have, right, today we can stop to here only. Correct. Tomorrow are you available?